Well, hey, MHayashi, happy holidays to everybody. And if you like A, please subscribe A, Karate, Money A, SpongeBob A, whatever. Anyway, um, yeah, so hey everybody. Yeah, so you know what? I'm just finding it to be hard to motivate myself to record over these post leagues. What I might do is I might just try to get some games, probably mostly in over the weekend. I might have to upload like every other week, but let's see how this goes because I think you guys all like live commentary better anyway. And this could be the most efficient way for me to do this. Kill two birds with one stone, so to speak. I miss my birdie, but you know, both record and and get some gaming in at the same time. In any case, we're going to play mono black mid range this time. I have been having some success with the red deck, but I remember the black deck having some legs to it, and I think this is what we're gonna try out here. Um, so I actually have been bouncing around with some different versions. These versions can be very hit or miss, and one thing about Pioneer is that because Pioneer is just it's much more interactive than Modern, for better or for worse. So so every little card choice you make, it can matter a lot, but in a very different way than it does in Modern. In Modern, you just lose on the spot if you have a way to interact with something you otherwise wouldn't be able to interact with. Whereas in Pioneer, it's just the tiny little percentage points that accrue over the games. I find that the games are much more evenly matched. There's a lot less like super lopsided matchups in Pioneer, which like that sounds great, but it has its element of frustration too, in that there's matchups that you think that you should be winning, and it's really demoralizing when you lose them. But I think you just have to remind yourself that there really isn't such a thing as like a matchup that you are pretty much guaranteed to win, whereas in Modern, a lot of times it is like that. I think what's demoralizing is there still are some matchups that you probably are going to be pretty much a dog to. Of course, there are some matchups that are probably going to be pretty hard for the opponent. And that's one thing I like about this eight field type of approach here, which we could also port into mono black. And not only mono red can do it, mono black can too. And what I just like about this is that there are some matchups, like for example, these some 5 color soup decks, some 5 color enchantment type decks. I mean, I famously, I remember I played well, I shouldn't say famously, but you know what I mean. Like I remember I played Magic Age not so long ago. It spelled with a Y rather than I, so I wasn't sure that was him, but apparently it was. Saw his video on YouTube. And apparently he was playing with one basic, and I think in both games, both games I won, he won one, I won two, and I think in both the games I won, I think he had the basic in his hand, if I'm not mistaken. It almost seemed to me like he didn't have any basics, but in any case, at least from what I remember he's not perfect, but yeah, I think there are some matchups that are probably going to be pretty favorable for us, and they're mostly going to be the ones where they're super vulnerable to the eight field plus Crucible of Worlds type of jank. On the other hand, there's going to be some matchups like I was going to say Phoenix, but I have actually played a few times against Phoenix, and I think I've won like twice and lost once. So like the mono red deck is really struggling against Phoenix. I'm not going to lie. That artist talent whatever card is such a big game changer for them. But anyway, look, I'm kind of all over the place. Let's just get to the actual deck tech, and of course the newcomer here, Fountainport Bell. Yeah, I'm not so sure about this in mono red, to be honest, because mono red has Mishra's Research Desk, and Candy Trail is, I think, more essential in mono red because it needs more life gain. There's so much aggro in the format that life gain is so crucial. Um, I think this deck wants Fountainport Bell rather than Candy Trail though, because this deck really is not starved for life gain. What with Cling to Dust and with March of Wretched Sorrow, and of course, good old Mazemind Tome on the last activation. Like this deck is really not starved for life gain. I think we've got life gain covered, and we've got it covered in the best possible way, relatively incidentally. Of course, March of Wretched Sorrow would probably be unplayable if it didn't gain life, but still, it kills a creature too. It gains life. Cling to Dust, of course, most like it's versatile. So like the life gain is the best possible life gain, where we're not playing it just for the life gain. It's got other utility that is arguably like playable in and of itself, even without the life gain. Anyway, long story short, basically Fountainport Bell is basically swamps 9 through 12 without actually being swamps 9 through 12. It's only swamps 9 through 12 if we're like basically if we have basically no black mana. I mean, the way this deck is, I mean, unless we really got to hit 2 black by turn 3, which does happen sometimes with Path of Peril, Path of Peril, sorry. Um, yeah, unless like we really need to hit double black or something. For the most part, we really only use this to if we only have like Field of Ruins, Mirrex or whatever, and we really want to have at least one swamp, so we have the flexibility to actually cast our spells. You know, I mean, hey, casting your spells, you know, I mean, you can't ask for everything, but you know, casting your spells seems like maybe not a bad thing, and being able to fetch a swamp to to do that is good. But a surprising amount of the time with this card, you're literally just cycling it. Actually, I would say probably 60% of the time we're not even fetching. And note that it's May. Um, it says you may search the library for a basic land card. So yeah, that's very important. You don't actually have to search for a basic land card, and I think this is something that can be overlooked when evaluating this card because what that means is I would say like again 60% of the time or so this is kind of an overcosted sort of cycling card, kind of like Relic of Regenitus where you can pay one and then like, pay one later to cycle it. So it's kind of overcosted. It's a little clunky, but being able to pay one over 2 separate turns rather than having to pay 2 all on 1 turn sorcery speed, like it's more flexible to cycle it than something like something that actually just costs 2 mana and you got to cycle it all at once, or even 2 mana instant speed. You know, being able to break it up, I think counts for a lot. But yeah, it's most 60% of the time you're just going to be cycling it, but those times, those 40% of the times where you put that swamp on the top of your library, you really freaking need that swamp on the top of your library. If that makes sense. Do you guys all follow me? Like especially in these aggro matchups, which are all over Pioneer, you really need that swamp on top of your library so you can actually cast your Fatal Push, Bitter Triumphs, all this stuff, and this does that. But ideally, you want to have at least one swamp and like 2 other lands in your opening hand. And for the most part, unless you really need to hit that 4th mana for Extinction Event, you know, you're really just kind of hoping to get to 3 mana because once you get to 3 mana, and hopefully one of those three lands is a Field of Ruin or a Demolition Field. What happens after you get to 3 lands? You kind of don't want to draw any lands after that because you pretty much just can play lands from your graveyard. Is at least the ideal. That's kind of the ideal pathway that this deck goes. Is by turn 3 you start playing Crucible Worlds and you start getting the fields out of your graveyard, and yeah, this just basically, like I was saying earlier, the thesis statement of this deck is you're going to get some free matchups because the opponent plays very few basics. There are, I think there are more monocolor decks or more decks that play a ton of basics in Pioneer than there are in Modern, but there's still a surprising amount of decks that play like 1, 2, maybe 3 basics max in Pioneer. They're still out there. And of course, you're not even against those decks that play out 3 basics. You're not always going to be able to nullify them with the Crucible Worlds, but it's something there. And I think the thing that makes the appeal to this deck is that even though you have the ability to get free wins in some matchups and some circumstances with the Demolition Fields, the deck can also just play an honest, fair kind of mid-range / control type of strategy. And at this point, I think it is fair to say that this is more of a control deck than a mid-range deck because it has 0 threats. Like it just has 0 threats. I had Liliana the Veil in here before, which is sort of a threat, but no, just no more Liliana. Just Liliana is most of the time just an overcosted Edict. The +1 discard doesn't usually do that much. It usually doesn't live that long anyway. Bitter Triumph is mostly just better because it hits creatures or planeswalkers. Also, you get to choose. So there are some circumstances where like you can get around hexproof and stuff with Liliana, but for the most part, it is better to be able to target and choose the creature. It's 2 mana instead of 3, 1 black instead of 2 black, instant speed instead of sorcery. Yes, it costs 3 life, but you can also discard a card. But discarding a card can be really mitigated with Crucible Worlds because if you got excess land beyond like the 3rd land or so, you just discard the 4th land and then smack Crucible down, and then you play that swamp or something. You discard it out of your graveyard. You can even Fatal Push or something, hold that up. Like it's like Bitter Triumph is mitigated a lot by the fact that when you got Crucible of Worlds, discarding land is just free. Like if that makes sense, it's hard to explain, but like trust me, if you have Crucible Worlds out, like the lands in your hand for the most part are kind of dead cards. So Bitter Triumph just, yeah, I mean Liliana kind of would do that before with the +1. which kind of made it asymmetrical. But like, I'm just finding Bitter Triumph to be better. But so the bottom line is, Liliana isn't even really a true threat, but it was kind of a threat because it threatened the ultimate. But no, just like Mirrex is our only win con. And you know what? I found that Mirrex like is sufficient for the most part to get there, because they need to have creature removal to deal with the tokens, and they need to have stuff like Field of Ruins and stuff to be able to hit the Mirrex. Plus, we got Crucible to recur it out of the graveyard. So even if they hit our Mirrex, we could basically they need to have creature removal, land destruction, and graveyard removal, or artifact removal on the Crucible. They need to have like all those things in order to be able to keep us off of the Mirrex plan. I guess our Nightmare Fuel is like main deck Pithing Needle, because I guess we have no way to win. Thank goodness I never see anybody ever with main deck Pithing Needle, and out of the sideboard we got Blast Zone. I guess first Pithing Needle naming Blast Zone, second Pithing Needle naming Mirrex would be kind of Nightmare Fuel, but hey, what can you do here? What, Anywho, yeah. Any case, just Fountainport Bell basically. Look, I mean, we can always revise it later, but I think that our strategy, just control the board, just try to nullify with the Crucible, and and then crank out Mirrex tokens and wins basically. Cling to Dust, Graveyard, Removal Extraordinaire. I've tried cutting this before, like for Candy Trail and stuff, and it's just never worth it. This card, it's it's most of the time it's very close to like a 1-mana cycler, but it also is like a draw engine, because later in the game you cash an extra card, from your graveyard for like basically like it's kind of like a buyback sort of draw spell, but you buy it back from your graveyard, which is even better. And it can also hit creatures and just stuff in general that, like a Memory Deluge, or like, stuff from the graveyard for Reanimator strategies. Like, just having graveyard interaction is just surprisingly relevant in more situations than you might think. It's not relevant enough that I think you'd play like main deck, you know, um, Lantern of the Lost or anything, but I certainly think Cling to Dust, because it's an engine draw spell that also doubles as graveyard hate and doubles as life gain in the aggro type matchups where you need to stay alive. It just does too much for too little. It's a very deceptively powerful card. I remember the first time I saw this and I'm like, this card is actually kind of nuts, Anywho, it's good. It's going to be a while, I think, till they print something that causes me to drop this, but you never know. They keep printing overpowered stuff, so. And Fatal Push, I mean, of course, the gold standard of black removal. I mean, do I need to say anything else? I guess the only thing I'll say is for a Pioneer deck where fetches are not legal in Pioneer, I think we actually have the most reliably we hit Revolt more reliably than most other decks in the format, which is nice, because usually when we're jamming this in Modern, we are usually less able to get Revolt since we don't have fetches. But since fetches aren't available in the format anyway, this card still sees plenty of play in Pioneer. And for a change, I think we're actually one of the decks that is best able to trigger Revolt, mostly because of the fields, but also Fountainport Bell. This is just a very easy sack outlet too. I didn't even necessarily play this with this intention, but I started noticing, hey, if I hold up Fountainport Bell, I can deal with like that Stigma Lasher, or that whatever that card's called, the 3-mana 3/3 haste, and if it deals you damage from its special ability, whatever, you can't gain life, whatever. Like like if you hold this up, then you can get Revolt pretty easily. Now a lot of times you just want to sack this and just draw through your deck anyway. But this is just another card that just kind of enables Revolt relatively freely, and yeah, there you go. Fatal Push. It would honestly probably be playable even if it just hit 1 to 2 cards. It didn't even have the ability to hit 3 or 4. But I mean, they pretty much are forcing us to play it because it can hit stuff 3 and 4 converted cost 2 with Revolt. Mazemind Tome, look, guys, I think I've had so many videos in the past. You can also see some of my Modern content. I don't know if I'm ever going to return to Modern, but maybe I'll get to that in a little bit. But yes, I've tried Reckoner Bankbuster. I've tried it in addition. I've tried it instead, and it's just it's just not as good. This deck, like, here's the thing to keep in mind, okay? I don't play any other creatures, okay? So, like, most of the time, that Bankbuster, it just turns on their Fatal Pushes, you know what I mean? I mean, yeah, I guess they have to Fatal Push. No, they usually can just Fatal Push the token, and I just don't really have. I mean, I have to use 3 Mirrex tokens to be able to actually attack with the Bankbuster to be able to crew it. Yeah, most of the time, like, I mean, the treasure token is nice, but being able to, okay, even if this card didn't have Scry, being able to draw one extra card as opposed to getting a treasure token and a and that pilot token, I think the extra card is better. Also, the 4 life is better. I don't know if the 4 life or the extra card by itself would cause this to be better than Bankbuster, but I'm telling you, even if this card could not scry, it's still better than Bankbuster in this deck because that pilot token just doesn't do that much. It just turns on their removal for the most part because we don't really play creatures. Um, and that extra card though is always an extra card, potentially extra removal. Potentially we hit our Crucible. You get the idea. The 4 life we can survive. I think surviving is usually better than playing a pilot token that just eats the fatal push that was rotting in their hand. You know what I mean? Um, and then of course that's not even counting the fact that it can scry. And I think the scry is so deceptively powerful. You can hit your 3rd land drop. Sometimes we just have to hit that 3rd land drop so that we can drop our Crucible, and then pretty much Crucible just does its work. We hit our land drops for the rest of the game, at least as far as we have a demolition field or a field of ruin. And that's also something to keep in mind. When you've got a Crucible out, every time you scry a land from the top of your library to the bottom, it's like you drew a card because you really don't want to be drawing lands from the top. As long as you got at least one field and one Crucible, you really don't want to be drawing lands off at the top of your library. And at that point, the scry is almost as good as draw, as long as you put a land at the bottom. Um, but long story short, I mean, even yeah, I mean, like because of the dynamics of Crucible of Worlds, how this works, like sometimes you just need to scry to a field so that this can do its magic. Sometimes you just need to scry to a Crucible. Sometimes you just need to scry so you can gain life. Sometimes you need to scry just to hit your land drops. Sometimes you need to scry to hit your removal. I mean, like, obviously this is at its best when you're drawing cards instead of scrying, but the situations where let's put it this way: when you are short on mana, that is where the scry helps the most, mainly because you can hit your land drops. When you have sufficient mana, Mazemind Tome is arguably also, like I said, I think it's better than Bankbuster when you've got the mana. But when you don't have the mana, Bankbuster usually does jack. You have to spend 2 mana every turn, and maybe you hit a land off the top, maybe you don't, maybe you hit a black source, so you can play your fatal push, maybe not. But like it's way too clunky. Bankbuster when you are short on lands is just way too clunky. Mazemind Tome, absolute opposite. This card is a card that you love to see when you have a lot of lands because it's very easy to just turn the pages and draw cards, and you love to see it when you're low on lands too because you can scry to hit your land drops. Just as a card for what this card does for me, anyway, this is single handedly, I think, what powers a lot of the MHayashi jank that I play. Um, I mean, it's very similar to Bankbuster. So I mean, realistically, say what you want about the card, but it's very similar to Bankbuster, and we all know Bankbuster is good. So at the very least, even if you question my choice of Mazemind Tome, like just imagine it's Bankbuster, and that's why it's good. However, if you do play with Bankbuster, I think you're going to agree with me. I think you're going to agree Mazemind Tome is maybe not better in all decks, but certainly better in this one. And I already explained Bitter Triumph basically replaced Liliana from earlier versions. Especially like you've got that Planeswalker combo whatever deck, the Discover deck whatever. Like you got to hit Quintorius Can at instant speed. You got to hit the Tyrannosaurus Rex thing at instant speed. Um, oh yeah, also end of turn Wandering Emperor. You got to be able to get that thing off the table before it goes nuts. Oh, don't forget 5 mana Teferi, being able to hit that Teferi before they untap their 2 lands for Dovin's Veto. Yeah, like this. Yeah, I mean, previous builds didn't have 8 Wraths, and you might be noticing there's no Bloodchief's Thirst. Bloodchief's Thirst is a tough cut because it does undoubtedly help a lot against those aggro matchups. Those matchups can almost become like a buy if you lean so heavily on the free creature removal. But the problem is Bloodchief's Thirst. It's just so bad against planeswalkers for the most part. Yes, it can hit them. So unlike Fatal Push, it's better than Fatal Push against planeswalkers since it actually hits them. But there's no red and six in Pioneer. The only planeswalker, to my knowledge, that Bloodchief's Thirst would hit is that Jace card for 2 mana that very rarely sees play anyway. Um, so yeah, like it doesn't. It's not that great at hitting planeswalkers, whereas Bitter Triumph is just excellent. And Sheoldred's Edict is yeah, it's honestly for the most part better than Bitter Triumph, but there are some circumstances, of course, where you don't want to give them the option. But there's very few situations where the opponent has multiple tokens or multiple non-token creatures, you know, and this card doesn't feel good to cast. It's hard to explain exactly, but just when you play with it, you're going to see that the control that this card gives you makes it pretty much eliminates almost all of the problems that Edict cards have had in the past. Plus, very rarely do people have a lot of planeswalkers out, so it's one of the most efficient anti-planeswalker cards ever printed. Um, Plus, it gets around hexproof, which is nice. Crucible already explained that. Path of Peril. So, funny story. I was playing cards like Bantu's Last Reckoning, which is same mana cost, you destroy all creatures, but then you don't untap any of your lands in your next untap step. That's way too brutal. Like, I was bouncing around lots of different possibilities for Wrath effects, and it used to be in the sideboard. Like Bantu's Last Reckoning was in the sideboard, but and of course there was also Deadly Cover Up, which is a 5 mana Wrath, and you can also get sort of like a surgical extraction effect if you remove 6 cards from your graveyard. But at the end of the day, I realized, hey, hold on, Path of Peril, like this is Pioneer legal. I think somebody cast it against me, and I'm like, whoa, I have not been thinking about this card. So to my delight, this card has gone down in price substantially for whatever reason. It was more expensive in the past. It's like 50 cents a pop now, so don't mind if I do. Um, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the cards that are most likely going to be swarming you are 1 and 2 mana creatures. And this card sometimes it's basically like a Bantu's Last Reckoning, but you get to untap your lands. Yes, you don't get to hit the higher cost stuff, but again, the decks where this is the most crushingly powerful are the decks that are playing 1 and 2 cost cards like those aggro decks, and this just hits them. This hits them really quick. It hits them really efficiently, and it's just really good. This is just really, really good. It also hits tokens. Um, yeah. And notably, we are playing a basic planes in the sideboard. There are most of the time you don't actually really need to have the ability to cleave and hit all creatures, but there are some matchups where it is worth it. Um, I mean, some matchups just don't even play anything above 2 mana or just like one creature or something. So but anyway, it is there. We've got the basic planes in our sideboard. Oh, it is worth noting, even in the main deck, we can actually cast it for 6 with the cleave. But you just have to have a Mirrex as your 6th land, basically. So it's not always going to be the timing's not always going to come together right. But you got to be. It's good to be on the lookout because you can actually do that. It's just kind of a narrow window. Extinction event. This just it does 2 things. It's a wrath. It's more expensive than Path, but it also hits the higher cost stuff. Like it can hit a Sheoldred and a Blood Tithe Harvester, for example, at the same time. It can hit a Ardaline and a Dauntless Escort or whatever at the same time. Like there are a lot of situations where this is better than Path of Peril. I'd say between Path of Peril and Extinction Event, you have very, very good Wrath effects here in Mono Black. Neither of them are perfect. They both have their weaknesses, but I think both of these cover for the weakness of the other one. And Extinction Event is also good because it exiles, so against decks like Phoenix or that new Unstoppable Slasher card, or those Enduring cards, Enduring Innocence, Enduring whatever, Vitality, it's really nice to just be able to just exile those things. And of course, March of Wretched Sorrow, life gain, um, plus it hits creatures and it hits planeswalkers. It's the clunkiest in a sense, but here's the thing: you don't do this that often, but when you do, it's really, 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 really helpful that you can. This is kind of a pseudo 1 mana removal spell. Yeah, like that's the thing. Like this card can be clunky, but it does have the ability to unclunkify itself. So this is weird. This is a weird card. This is definitely by far the card that looks like it's the most cuttable, but at the same time, the life gain just really, really helps. Yeah, and the fact that it can, you can dump a lot of mana later in the game to gain more life too. You can deal more than the toughness of the creature too, and you will gain, like if you deal 5 damage to a Blood Tithe Harvester or 2 toughness, you will gain 5 life. You will not only gain 2 life. So for anybody who's newer to how that works, hopefully they don't change that rule. But anyway, um, yeah, I mean it's hard to explain. Just this card has just served me well, and probably I'll probably continue playing it for the foreseeable future. Okay, so now this is weird. Okay, why am I playing Feed the Swarm and Debt to the Kami? Like, why are we playing so much enchant removal? Well, the reason is very simple. This frickin' Annex card, Annex of the something, um, Unholy Annex. Let me see. Yeah, this frickin' card here, man. Let me tell you, this frickin' card. Um, this needs to be dealt with on site if possible. Um, let's see. One of the main things I'm hoping to do is just to get a better feel for how these games for like how reasonable can we actually compete with the Rakdos midrange deck, because that Unholy Annex card is very strong in my limited playing against it so far. And you might be thinking, well, why don't we play it? We're black. Well, I don't know. I feel like in this deck, Crucible of Worlds is kind of better. Um, Also, we have no demons. Like it's just a different deck. You know what I mean? Like the reality is Crucible of Worlds pretty much fulfills the function of this deck that Annex does for the demon deck. But yeah, it's weird. It feels like the Rakdos players hit their Annex more consistently than we hit our Crucible of Worlds. That's probably because they have Duress and Thoughtseize, which we could play ourselves, but I don't know. Those Rakdos mid-range players, they play very limited removal in my experience. Like they play basically Fatal Push and Torch the Tower sometimes. I think mostly they play Fatal Push, and I don't really see them. I don't really see that much more removal they play. Like honestly, maybe sometimes Sheoldred's Edict. But yeah, I'm really surprised about the Rakdos mid-range deck. They don't seem to be that afraid of these multitude of aggro decks running around. I have to imagine we're better situated, but who knows? Anywho, it is worth noting Feed the Swarm also is cheap creature removal. Yes, you lose life, but hey, it does kill tokens at no life loss, so that's nice. Uh, yeah, I mean this is mostly like so we can hit stuff like Annex on site. Also, up the Beanstalk. Um, yeah, there's just more enchantments in the format than I think there's ever been in a long time. Um, yeah, plus also just more cheap creature removal can be good too. So there's that. And Debt to the Kami. So at the end of the day, there's another card that was printed recently, and I think I had that in my set review for the newer sets. 3 mana, I forget what it's called, but 3 mana, destroy target enchantment or creature, you lose 2 life. But there's 2 reasons why I favor Debt to the Kami over that. First reason is because I don't want to overdo it with the life loss, and I do feel like Feed the Swarm costing 1 less does make it worth being sorcery speed and potentially losing more life. Because remember, you can also lose less life too for a token or for a 1 cost card. But I think costing 2 instead of 3 makes Feed the Swarm worth it. But also Debt to the Kami, this doesn't only allow us to play more enchant removal, it also gives us more exile effects. So if we run up against like those Enduring Innocence decks or whatever, like against certain decks where we need to exile, like we don't have to count on Extinction Event doing all the work for that. You know what I mean? So like I just like the way this does double duty. Basically, this can come in against matchups where we really need to exile certain creatures, and this can come in against matchups where we really need to exile an enchantment. It is worth noting that this card does not do jack against Leyline of Sanctity because we can't target them in order to make them sacrifice it. So, but hopefully Feed the Swarm is good enough against that. 4 blast zones because, hey, you know, I mean, what can I say? In certain matchups, it can hit a bunch of 1-drops. It can hit enchantments. It can hit artifacts. This is our only main deck way to hit artifacts. So, I mean, this is our only actually way period to deal with artifacts. So we'll take it. Plus, it can be recurred with Crucible. So there is that. It's just not main. It's just not played in the main deck because it's not our primary engine with Crucible because it's way more mana intensive unless they're like a deck with a ton of 1-drops, in which case oftentimes you don't even need to recur it for it to do its job. But like, yeah, like in order, like you have, it's very mana intensive unless they only play 1-drops, which again, if they do, you might not even need to recur it. um yeah, it's nice that you can recur it, but honestly the fields are the main engine with Crucible that make Crucible good. And yeah, Blast Zone is just it's more of just a happy side effect basically, and it's there if we need it. Planes, of course, for the Path of Peril, so we can cleave it if that's something we want to have access to in games 2 and 3. Thought Distortion. Honestly, like what I really did here is I felt like I needed Feed the Swarm, I needed Debt to the Kami, I needed 4 Blast Zone, I needed the Planes, and basically I just needed 2 high impact sideboard cards to kind of flesh the deck out. And you really don't get much more high impact than this card. You don't really want more than 2 cards, most likely anyway. Um, but yeah, I think this kind of only really comes in against control decks. I don't even honestly know if we want to bring this in against Phoenix, although we might. Um, yeah, honestly, we probably do want to bring it in against Phoenix, but yeah, I mean, we'll see, we'll see. But all I know is when people cast this against me, it feels really dirty. So, you know, having the opportunity to have this ourselves, the fact that it can't be countered is obviously the main selling point here. Yeah, potentially just wreck control decks. Seems pretty good. Seems pretty good to me. So in any case, we shall see, and I guess I'll see you over in the game. All right, match one. Well, I'll keep, and I'll see where this goes from here. Yes, we shall see. We shall see. Okay, that's good. I'll wait to see if they play like Immutable. All right, I gotta be efficient here. So boom. Normally I could try to angle to stop that, but it's fine. Okay. Yeah, I think what I need to do. I'm probably going to Bitter Triumph just to be mana efficient. And take Fatal Push if I were them. Okay, Path of Peril. Okay, this is getting annoying. Alright, we're gonna sack the Field of Ruin. Pay 3 life. Hopefully I don't have another duress. Okay. Let's do this. I think I may have to start discarding a card here. It's not my first choice, but I think I have to. Who's going to draw first? Their Chalice or my Crucible of Worlds? Okay. Yeah, I think, man, I ran out of like removal or something. It's so weird. Adept to the Kami. Deals with the Chalice. Double Blast Zone. Should I have more Blast Zones? It's an interesting question. I wonder how necessary Cling to Dust really is. I think this has got to be it. Alrighty, I had more where that came from. Fear of missing out, that's fine. I'll push. Okay, I gotta get this down before things get ugly. Alrighty. Okay, that's significantly not as bad as the chalice. Okay. So I'm probably going to draw a card. Yes, I will. Yeah, I just really don't want them drawing a card off of this. Alrighty. Alright, now the fun begins. Oh, okay. Not as fun as I thought. I do need removal, though. I think that qualifies. Yeah, let's gain some life. Why not? I'm going to turn off auto yields. Okay. Never a break here. Never a break. Ooh, that's a good one. It's just, oh, it's just a little too. I think I need it though. I think I need it. I'm so greedy. So greedy. Okay, that's fine. I have one turn to make something happen. Okay, that's fine. Come on, something good. No. Wow, that's even worse. Okay, maybe we get something good. If we can somehow stop this, maybe. Oh no! Oh man! Wow. Oh. Okay. Hopefully this one goes a little bit better. Well, this is a keepable hand that instantly loses to Thoughtseize, of course. Mm, mm. There's more where that came from. Where's the Thoughtseize glitch when you need it? Problem with playing cards like Duress is that they're just so horrible against those aggro decks. But whatever. Oh, da 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 da. Wow. Whew, da, 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 da. Yeah, so this is very laggy game here. That NX card is very frustrating to play against. Well, maybe we made on time, who knows? Alright, so we're gonna do this on their upkeep, or draw step rather. Just in case they play like Unstoppable Slasher or something. We have Revolt. Let's see if we draw, you know what? Not quite. We don't need to worry about Delirium anymore, so we'll just bam. I mean, Revolt, sorry. Okay. Well, maybe these are like strip mines from now on. Look at that Oni Nuna. They're missing out. I think this is a job for Path of Peril. I mean, they know about this, so I'm just a little surprised. So this may have actually panned out here. Ooh. All right, let's path it up here. Gotta love it. All right, well, there's that one. I need the you know what. Dang it. So I could, then if I do that, I'm just going to, you know what, expose myself to Thoughtseize. Ugh. So all I'm going to do is draw that Crucible. I'm just about as deep into my deck as they are into theirs. And let me see. Ah! Okay. Yeah, I'm bitter triumphing that. Well, first, I'm actually doing this here. No. But maybe I will do this, though, because what if I draw, you know what? Okay, never mind. I'll probably tank the 2 life. And then I'll probably cling to dust in a turn. Let me just do this here. Come on. Well, that is not bad, though. The upside is just so big if I draw another field. But the downside is so big, too. To draw or not to draw? That is the question. I think I got to take my chances. There's potential upside, too. It's not like there's only downside, even if I don't hit it. All right, well. I'm probably going to let them attack. At this point, I just need to pick off their demons. Probably afford to let them gain just 2 life, though. Oh man, this is such a juicy Path of Peril. And they are racing themselves, so there is that. So this could be a valid strategy, actually, try to pick off their demons. I mean, this card does kind of race themselves. Maybe the Annex has some disadvantages I hadn't quite thought of. Yeah, what a very... Okay. The Fables, at the end of the day, are not demons, so I'm not going to prioritize them. I'm going to try to hit the Mutavault if I can. Okay, that's not a demon, I don't think. Okay, now that is a demon. We'll do this here. Let's pay 3 life. Let's hit that. I'm probably gonna hit this in response to the Kiki. If they thought seize, I'll just let it go. Okay. That's fine. Actually, maybe I should have Fatal pushed and Bitter Triumph that. Whatever. No, I shouldn't. Yeah, maybe I just shouldn't have cared about that. So maybe if I can just survive. I will survive. La 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 la. I will survive. I will survive. I wonder just how viable this strategy can be. Just try to race their Unholy NX. Unholy NX. Yeah, it could be an idea here. They sure are taking their sweet time. Okay. Okay. That is fine. Oh man, this is a good one, but unfortunately, not yet. What'll it be? So what will it be? I really want to draw my card. Hope it's like a fatal push or something. I guess that works too. You know, I'll take it. Creature token of their choice. How many mutavaults? Maybe I can just let this rip because, like, I don't know if they've got another mutavault. Yeah, I probably, you know what? I could have avoided that earlier, actually. I mean, 3 mutavaults. I could do something about that, but what's the point? I think it's fine. Kuraksa. Oh, they missed out on 2 damage, so I mean, I'll take it. Is this a demon? No, it's an Elder Giant. Let's go. I mean, that seems reasonable. And I think if I win this game, I think I win the 2 out of 3. But unfortunately, they can win in 8 minutes for the game 2. But winning 2 games in 8 minutes, that's going to be a little tough. But one game, they absolutely could. I think I got the fatal push. Just kind of for giggles. Well, that's a lot of giggles. So Mutavault could potentially, like their 4th Mutavault, could potentially get them there. Any old bog standard demon could too. but not their fourth annex, because I have the answer to the token. Whew. Wow, they really are using a lot of time off their clock. 18 minutes. 18 minutes. Very wow. Much wow. Uh, well, let's see what you got. Show us what you got. Did it? Did it? Did it? Ding. Well, I'll take it. I'll take it. Definitely need at least 2 blast zones just in the Mirrex. I mean, eventually we need to win, so I guess 2 Mirrex is kind of important. Do like planes. Fountainport Bell. Probably take out 1 Cling to Dust. The Cling to Dust can be super important. I wonder, Sheoldred's Edict. Feed the Swam. Maybe Bitter Triumph too. That could be Debt to the Kami. This could be a huge mistake, but I like it. I like it. Ooh. Yeah. Hmm. Excuse me. Excuse the yawning. Okay, well, they bought whatever time they needed here. That they did. Oh, okay. Let's go. Falcon Punch. Okay. Excuse the low energy. Let's see here. They are down to 5 minutes, and yeah, I don't know what to say. Okay, well, hopefully they don't Thought Seize this away, but at least I have mana. You know, it could even be a blessing in disguise if they Thought Seize this away, because of course I'm going to want to get a swamp. But, you know, okay. Yeah, I think I just have to. Really want to minimize, but you just have to. New. Oh, we still won last one, despite that. La 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 la. Okay, well now we've got a bonanza here. Man, that's too much swamp. I don't want that many swamp. I'm gonna risk it and go after this. Remember, I didn't even draw my Crucible last game. Of course, they just keep drawing more land. Okay. I think I'll discard the swamp. No mana floody. I'd rather not let them gain the life. Maybe I should have done that on upkeep again. But it's okay, because I mean, on the other hand, I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna save this. Doras. Doras. Yeah, I chickened out. Just do that. I don't care about that at all. Maybe I should have Extinction Evented though. I think I'm gonna Extinction Event. I'll let them gain the life, then I think I'll Extinction Event. Another one. All right, well, I've got another Extinction Event, I guess. Good thing I got the field. What is this? Oh. Yay! Okay, let's see if we can keep keep the winning streak going. I definitely am not going to fetch a land off of this Bell. I mean, that's the thing. When Bell is not needed, it's just a cycler, but it is basically kind of like a cycling land drop of sorts. Man, Rakdos like 3 games in a row, eh? 3 games in a row, eh? Hopefully this is the aggro deck just to mix things up a little bit. I'm somehow getting mid-range vibes. Yeah, getting a lot of mid-range vibes. That's just how it is. So I could Path of Peril, but I think I'll take this opportunity to get off some, Mazemind and Fountainport draws here. They're not going to get an extra attack just yet. I don't have Delirium just yet. Okay, well now the fun really starts. But we're going to try the same strategy we did last time and see if we can keep them off kilter. Well, it's a very ideal answer to this thing. Should I play the other Mazemind Tome? I mean, probably. On the other hand, keeping field up for the you-know-what. But I just really don't want to lose that to a duress or something. Oh, and there it is. I don't know that that's going to make a difference in the end, but I'll probably take the Fatal Push. But I don't know. Other options are options. I'm just gonna remove all these. It gets hard to keep track of when they Thoughtseize multiple times. Just make a mental note. All right, see what I mean? Multiple Thoughtseizes, that's fine. They're losing a lot of life, though. I could start working on their, you know what, but I think I raced this though. I don't think I need to kill this. If they make a token, I'll probably Path of Peril both, just because it's good value. Yeah, that's fine. I think I'll Extinction Event. It's just marginally better, I think. That's fine. It's fine. They really don't like those, all right, maybe I should start working on the lands just a little bit. Oh, Path of Peril. Might as well get that out of my hand. That's fine. So they might not know about my other Path of Peril, so I might be able to get a 2-for-1 out of this. We'll see. Man, they are really up in the ante here. I don't think they're going to be able to race their own NX. So, maybe this is a different perspective I hadn't honestly considered before. Just kind of roll with it, if you know what I mean. I could even take a hit, can't I? Maybe I just Extinction Event or Path of Peril. I'm an Extinction Event. Even. Because all they got to do is keep them off of playing creatures for the next 2 turns. Demons, that is, to be more specific. And then I should be able to win. Okay, well that can get Demolition Field. That's not a demon. Okay, that is a demon, but that's easily Sheoldred addicted naming token. No, 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 no. Dang it, man. I didn't realize I had that auto-yielded. Ah, this sucks. This could be the difference in winning and losing right here. I'll probably actually just let them take it, because actually this is too good of a Path to Peril anyway, so maybe it's okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna roll with this development. I mean, I think I have to, don't I? Where Path to Periling? I'm gonna just start firing off the fields if they don't play anything, especially since I can buy them back with the Crucible now. It's fine. Fortunately, there's no perfect sweeper to take advantage of that. Okay, that's getting hit. Turn off the auto yields this time. Being able to keep hitting my land drops seems good. Unless I'm missing something, it's 4 damage. I think this is probably where I march on the Kiki. Yeah, but they don't have Revolt though. Yeah, I think that's fine. I'm inclined not to hit this, even as the more common converted mana cost than odd. I can gain 4 more life, so just inclined to see where this takes me. All right, well that's getting. I'm gonna tokenize that. Use the blood token. Yeah, they are. I'm gonna take the blood crypt. Named creature token. All right. Let's see what we get here. Seems reasonable to me. 4, 5, 6. So I actually can hit a. I can hit a giant token. All right. Well, this is just a very good opportunity to go bam, bam, bam. But they're gonna die if they don't play a demon. Okay, that is not a demon. But that will gain them some, that will at least prevent them from losing life. Yeah, it's not a demon. Okay. I don't want to lose life, but at the same time, yeah, I guess I'll scry. I'll bottom for sure. So this is a juicy Extinction Event, if I've ever seen one. Taking them entirely off of red is tempting, but ultimately not so sure. Yeah, that's fine. Surprised they didn't try to bring back one of their demons. Let's see. I think that's GG. All right. Well, I mean, I'm feeling more confident about the Rakdos midrange matchup. That NX was actually causing me big problems, but some way somehow we've been able to keep them off of their demons. I almost wonder, maybe I just take out all my win cons and just try to definitely one planes. Since they could be playing what's it called? Man, should I play one Mirrex? That seems very very risky, but I think I will. I have to play Blast Zones because they might be playing Unlicensed Hearse. 22 lands seems reasonable. Bitter Triumph seems unnecessary. Debt to the Kami seems better than Sheoldred's Edict, at least. I think I'll play Feed the Swam. I mean, I don't know, though. I mean, because the thing is, Bitter Triumph is better at sniping off their demons on their turn, but Feed the Swarm just outright deals with the annex at the cost of 3 life, 5 life if they pay the alternate cost, 8 life if they pay both. So it becomes kind of unwieldy when they fully charge it. But the fact that this outright deals with their tokens with 0 life loss is pretty nice. Okay, problem here is I need to cut 2 more cards. I'm not going to cut swamps. I'm not going to cut fields. Dang it! I guess I'm cutting 2 blast zones. I didn't want to do. I didn't want to do it, but maybe 2 blast zones is enough. But this makes me wonder if I should even bother having 4 blast zones in the sideboard, because oftentimes I only bring 2 in. This is obviously a mulligan. All right, well, I don't think we need the planes just yet, so I can go to the bottom. Okay, that's fine. I think I could use another. I could use another swamp. They're gonna braid that. Okay, that seems a little bit overkill to me, but hey, what do I know? There really isn't much on 4 that I need other than Extinction Event. So well, I got double Feed the Swarm. So I'll probably march, but I need to march on when after they attack. Otherwise, they can sacrifice. Well, maybe not. No. Yeah, I think it's target itself, I think. If it's a Sheoldred, okay. I might have to use one of these on that. This is like kind of not ideal. I could hit the Fable before they can filter. Plus, this has the added benefit of also shielding me from discard. I just don't want to hold this in my hand and then have it get discarded. I mean, yeah, they might play Annex next turn, but I think there's a much better chance that they Thoughtseize or Duress me next turn. That's my logic, at least. Okay. Kind of figured that was coming. Wait until I draw. Okay, good. Unfortunately, I can't kill it. I can try to keep them off of red, though. Probably should have got a plains off of the other one there. I don't know. I don't know if that was good or not, but it just kind of looked like the thing to do. I smell a Thoughtseize. Yep. He who smelt it dealt it. Ah, no, after I already cracked both my revolt enablers. On the other hand, if I didn't shuffle my library twice, what are the odds I would have? All right, let's see. I can't take that much more punishment here. Yeah, the downsides of March, and Fatal Push for that matter. Rare instance where Bloodchief's Thirst would be better, but sorcery speed, also paying 4 mana is oftentimes just too much. But this shows we don't always have Revolt. No. I plan to keep them off of red. Failed. Oh no, they finally drew that too. Yeah, this one's not looking super good. I didn't have any fields, any what do you call it, crucibles, any Mazemind Tomes, any, or even any oh man, that would have been good like a turn ago. So I would have had 5 damage from the march. Okay, let me think here. But at the end of the day, I still think March is overall the life gain is going to be better, especially it helps offset Feed the Swarm. Obviously, this was disappointing, but I don't think we can realistically blame. I don't think we can realistically blame March for that. It does make me wonder if maybe I should take out 2 marches for 2 blast zones, though. Blast zone's very unwieldy, though. I don't think so. I'm just gonna roll this. I think the life gain is too relevant. I always see this as more for control. I always feel like when I when I put this in my sideboard, I never bring it in. But against control, I think it's a pretty auto-include. So there's that. I wonder if I should play Duress instead of Feed the Swam. Nah. One problem with Thought Distortion, though, is control decks could be bringing in Leyline of Sanctity. On the other hand, I'm probably not bringing in Debt to the Kami against them. So realistically, they bring in 4 Leylines to stop 2 distortions, which I could always just feed the Swarm that Leyline anyway to get around later on. We'll see. Okay. Well, I've got a bad feeling that a Duress or Thoughtseize is in my future, but at least I got one of these out of the way. I think I have to. They could also have a Braid, so. Okay, yep. That's so weird that they chose that, especially after what Mazemind did for them last game. They probably have a Braid, though, to be fair, but I'm still not going to not play it. I'm going to put that to the bottom. Alrighty. Still think it's anybody's game at the moment. Excuse the yawn. Whoa. Blade of the Oni. Oni? Well, I think I'm going to do this. The reason is that if I draw into a Crucible, I want to be able to I want to be able to play it. And get the Demolition Field back. So, you know, that's actually not the worst ever. I'll probably march and then dust end of turn. The reason why I'm dusting at end of turn is that if I hit a Crucible or something, I don't want that to get hit by a stray Duress or what have you. Taking 3 damage. I'd rather gain 1 life than take 3 damage, but that's just me. There's the duress we were worried about. Interesting that they chose that. Okay. So I could charge the Blast Zone, or I could, I might charge the Blast Zone. If they duress me, that's fine. Okay, I'm just gonna let them take whatever. Okay, that's fine. I'm probably gonna charge the Blast Zone here. There's nothing this does at 1, so... So in case I draw a you-know-what... Alright, well, that's something. Kind of want to charge the Blast Zone to 3. Or fire off a debt to Kami. Having the Blast Zone at 3 seems good. Okay, okay. Still gonna put this on 3. Okay. I think I can eat 3 damage. I think it's okay. Turn off auto yields. I actually feel like Fable would be more problematic here than an Annex. I find that interesting. They must have Kolaghan's Command. At least I get draw 1 card off of this. I'll probably discard the Fountainport Bell. Okay, I think I'll take only 2. Thank you very much. Okay, I think I'm actually going to debt to the Kami, make them enchant, sacrifice an enchantment. I'd rather them not filter. Filtering is very powerful because they've got a lot of dead, like, you know, a lot of dead, cards. Fatal Pushes, torch the tower, stuff like that. Maybe they take out some in the sideboard, but like our deck, I don't think they can take out all the creature removal. That's a good one. I like it. Now the question is, do I fire off the Cling? I mean, the upsides are just too big if I draw a land. Hopefully I don't draw a Crucible. No. Okay, I did draw a land. All right, well, I can blast on that. I probably will. Ooh, but that's a good one though. Yeah, I got to do this. Just playing around this card just seems very, very potent to me, at least. In retrospect, actually, maybe I should have. No, I think drawing a card is better. Do your worst. Oh, only one card, okay. And it wasn't even a totally dead card, so yeah, I don't like this card generating a treasure token, but it's not the end of the world. So I'm not yielding to Sheoldred this time. And I know they got it. Okay. At least I can Path to Peril, although this Blast Zone is not going to do the work I was hoping it was going to do. I'll play the deck to Kami, obviously, if they duress or something, but otherwise. They do have to lose life from that, though, so it's not free. I think I have to respond by Let me think. I should have done this in response to them playing this, but hey, it is what it is. Obviously, I got to sacrifice the Kiki. That's fine. Yeah, Feed the Swarm. I think this is outstayed its usefulness. That the Kami just a little bit too expensive sometimes. Okay, that should help because what I need to do is I think I'm done trying to get rid of the Unholy Annex. I think what I'm going to do. Oh no, I can't. Um, Creature. And then I can march this one. Huh, interesting. Good thing I charged this up. Oh no, if it's just what I think it is. Invoke Despair. Maybe I. Alright. Man, I keep forgetting about Invoke Despair. That is one reason not to keep taking damage early on. Honestly, I'm probably also just not as good at Magic as I used to be either. Like, I'm not playing at 100%. I got double Crucible, so I don't know. Sometimes redundancy helps. If I were them, I'd take Fountainport Bell. Interesting. They must be playing that vehicle reanimator deck. Okay, this is a dead telegraph that I drew a land, but I don't care. Good card for putting their animation target into the graveyard. They might not have one. They don't. I'm not going to feel pressure to use this just yet because unless they thought seize. Which they realize, so they're going to get a free 2 damage, but I'll bite. Okay. That is a little bit less than ideal, not going to lie. I'm going to do this. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's reasonable. Since I got 2 Crucibles, I'm not necessarily super worried about protecting them from discard. Cruxa. Alright, I guess I'll bite. Hopefully I don't discard that one now. So creature, artifact, sorcery, land. Maybe I should have discarded the Mirrex, because then I could play the Crucible, but I don't know. I'm not sure which color is their weakest link. I'll just hit that, because it's the flashiest. If they did this to try to bamboozle me into hitting that, then mission accomplished. They only have 1 basic. That's good to know. I might have prioritized the Crucible a little higher. But I can't let them drop the you-know-what. I got Bitter Triumph. I should have definitely just discarded the Mirrex. Just to you know, to protect that Crucible a little bit more. Plus the Mirrex, once I got a Crucible in play, Mirrex is just a freely play it from my graveyard anyway. I mean, if this is what I think it is, I think I'm going to do this. They can't play the Grease Fang thingy. This does expose me one more turn to getting Thought Seized, but seems like just the safest way to, yeah, okay, take it. The thesis statement to this deck is that I do think that we can just play a fair mid-range game if we have to, but sometimes you just get free wins with these, and they don't play a lot of basics. At least that's the theory here. Take out a couple Mirrex for a couple Blast Zone. Not sure how necessary Path of Peril really is. Death to the Kami, though, doesn't exactly play well if they have Iskra's Chariot, but this seems to be a red version, not a green version. So being instant speed could be pretty nice. Thought Distortion. This does hit stuff from their graveyard, but I don't know. I don't think this is the matchup for it. And just like that, we just never bring it in. I don't know. Okay, keep. Okay. Hopefully they don't play something that dumps cards in their graveyard so I can play Mazemind next turn. Yeah, well, that dumps stuff in the graveyard, but not exactly in the way. Like, because they won't be able to. They don't have enough mana to play Grease Fang and Thingamajig. I gotta get this down. I can wait on Crucible. Crucible's always at its best when we could just immediately get something out of our graveyard. Just play that Grease Fang Okiba just raw. Okay, well, that works. That's fine. I'd take the Crucible. I'd be terrified of that. Once that gets going, that's just GG. Okay, fair enough, I guess. I'm surprised I didn't take Sheoldred's deck. Would they have some kind of enchantment, maybe? Ooh, Kruxa. This is actually kind of not immediately apparent what I should discard. But it's probably going to be March just because it's I don't think they play Iskra's Chariot or too much. Let's just do this. If I knew I had another land, I'd just discard Mirrex. But I'm not going to play Crucible. There's nothing to pull out of my graveyard yet. I drew another one for safety anyway. And I just like being able to hold up Edict, plus if they don't play anything, just go Mazemind. Okay. That is a thing. This could be good anti-Grease Fang tech. I might live to regret this. But I also just need to get Crocs out of there though too. If it goes to combat, I'll trust in my ability to draw another creature removal spell, which maybe is giving myself too much credit. But this is the thing that makes this so good is I can choose non-token or token. So that way I do have an out to Greasefang. Okay, token. The Fable is going to make this not reliable anyway. So might as well just do that. Mill 4 cards. That's probably a Blood Tap Heartstruck, yes fine. Straw card. Okay, Cling to Dust is perfect. Best way to get around the Akiba. That also is pretty good. I want to hit my land drop. So maybe against my better judgment, I'm going to go boom. Come on, land drop. Not a land drop, but also a very decent card. They don't have any actual enabler card in their graveyard yet. So that's worth noting. I think I want to get rid of the creature token. And Fate does not want me to play these Crucibles, but that's fine. So let's see, 2, 2, 1. I wonder if we might be able to have a big turn for a Extinction Event on Odd for all of these. I mean, that's a thing. Should I Bitter Triumph? I think I should. So there's Extinction Event, which I like, just not yet. My land drops, please. Well, hey, ask and you shall receive. It's not my perfect land drop, but it is a land drop. I'll take it. How greedy do I want to be? If I wait till next turn, I can hit the Overlord. Well, this is a good Extinction Event if I've ever seen one. We're clinging to dust. Just don't want to misclick that. Come on, another land drop. Perfect. Odd. Okay, fair enough. Uh, oh. Mm. Yes. Okay, my cat has come. Ooh. Yes. Oh, da, da, da. Okay. All right, so Bitter Triumph is going to be a triumph of the human will. Careful they don't play Thought Season to you know what. I'd rather not take 5 damage and them draw a card effectively. You can probably hard cast that thingamajig though now. But at least they have to use a treasure token. Oh, okay. Decisions. I'm just gonna pass because I gotta hold up the cling to dust out of the graveyard. You want to attack me for 6? That's fine. Honestly, I prefer that than them gaining a treasure token. Come now. Down to 10 minutes. Fear of missing out. Okay. Fair enough. Discard a card and draw a card. Crew 3. Alright, I think I'm going to have a legendary skyship coming my way. Start Fatal Push or something. Nope. Alright, it is what it is. Oh wow, I messed this up big time actually. Oh wow. Man, this I was just gonna say, like, if I have a post league wrap up, I'm gonna explain how important it is in Pioneer to be paying attention at all times and not to make even one mistake. And then here you go. But I had to do that though. Like, but I should not have cracked the Demolition Field. Like that was not necessary. I didn't need to do that. I would have had 2 more mana. Would have been able to hold up the Cling to Dust. So I'm probably gonna lose here, but I have to play to my outs. Okay, never mind. I wasn't punished. Yeah, but in all seriousness, I think I would have been in much better shape. Okay, let's see. Hey, this hand seems okay. Let's go. La 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 la. La, 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 la. Okay. And I don't think I want to get a basic from this. I just don't. Okay. Oh, oh man, it's this deck. This is a little bit, this deck is a little tricky from what I remember. I'm going to need all four of those blast zones, that's for sure. This can deal with that Jitrog monster thingamajig. Yeah, I don't know how useful that is, but alright, well, I've got nothing else to do other than maybe crank out Mirrex tokens if they don't do anything. I might have a lot of creature removal, we'll see. Yep, that's fine. I'm banking that they don't have another basic here. Yay. That can pay dividends. Hey, not bad. I'll take it. I might want to crank out some tokens though, rather than drawing a card just yet. I can wait. I can wait one turn to draw a card. Maybe I don't want to yield to that. Alrighty, and now I can draw a card and crank out Mirrex tokens. Witch's Oven. Okay, that's not my first choice. Okay, gotta love the Crucible. Create a food token. I'll just try to overrun with the Phyrexian Might tokens. Okay, so this card, ward, sacrifice a food. I have an answer, sort of. I'm not sure if it's going to work, though. First things first. No, 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 no. Okay. I think, so this is what I'm going to do. A non-token creature of their choice. They can sacrifice one food token. And I can march. Oh, snap. I don't, wow. This is kind of a foolproof combo, isn't it? Yeah, wow. So I can't stop it because I don't have a food to, oh, wait a minute. No, I do. I do. This is a food, isn't it? Okay. So you know what? Never mind. Sorry. I forgot that these are foods. I think I got it. I mean, hopefully I'm not missing something. Now that gets sacrificed. I actually didn't want them to sacrifice that because then I could exile. In theory, I've got lethal next turn. They didn't get it. They're not getting any food tokens just yet. Okay. That's not enough foods, though. I do have Cling to Dust, actually. It is important to note that. And I got another one of these. So I think odd. Hopefully they can't mill me out this turn. Oof. Oh man, what a crazy game. I did not think I was going to stop that combo. Well, Blast Zone is going to... This is where 4 times Blast Zone frickin' going to be excellent. I think Feed the Swam is going to be more useful than probably Sheoldred's Edict. I don't know, Path of Peril. I just don't know about that. I don't know about Extinction Event either, but seems a little bit more reasonable. Mirrex is super important because I need foods to sacrifice. I wonder, maybe I don't need Fountainport Bell. Maybe I'm just not under that much pressure that much early. Cling to Dust is obviously excellent. I mean, this could be very, very wrong, but I'm going to do it this way. Those Fountainport Bells are essentially extra lands anyway. Yeah, this is a reasonable hand, although I am running the risk of not having early black mana, but it's not like I could guarantee... It's not like I could guarantee early black mana anyway by playing... Well, why did I do that? I have no idea. Hopefully they can't combo off this turn. Should I... Yeah, I don't think I need another one of those. I think Cling is going to help, keep things too crazy. I don't know how necessary this really is. Not very necessary, I think. Yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't target. I don't know how much Fatal Push does for me. I'll put it to the bottom. Oh, actually, of course, a Fatal Push because the Den of Bugbear. Oh, stupid me. Stupid me. That was like the perfect foil to Den of the Bugbear. But they need an untapped red source, though. So there's that. They can sacrifice this, but then they don't have three other. I'm going to risk it. Oops. Token. Creature token of their choice. Ooh, that was a big mistake. I forgot that makes them sacrifice. Well, I guess I lose because now they have Colden Familiar in the graveyard. Yeah, somehow I forgot that was going to trigger their sacrifice ability. All right, well, I'm just going to make them use the time on their clock. But for the record, as you can see, I actually had an out to this. I just forgot that what's it called? Yeah, what's it called? Counts as sacrifice. Yeah, this sucks because I had everything I needed, I think. I wonder if they milled any blast zones. Okay, that's my first blast zone, I think, out of like almost 40 cards into my deck. Sometimes even as a 4-of, you just don't see certain cards. Yeah, it looks like all the blast zones are in the bottom, like 23 cards. Two blast zones in the top 23. Yeah, third blast zone, about 50 cards deep. And final blast zone might be the literal last card, bottom of the library. Oh, maybe I misjudged and there's another one. One, two, three, four. Okay. All right, but truth be told, something is just fine. Notice how I also didn't see any Feed the Swarms either. Okay, well, there's a Feed the Swarm. Okay. Should I just kill that thing? Maybe not yet, because I mean I do have Blast Zone after all. I think I'm gonna Feed the Swarm. So let's see, I can Feed the Swarm on the Fable, or I'm gonna Feed the Swarm on the Goblin Shaman token. That's fine. Interesting. I would have thought Bitter Triumph, but to each their own. I wish Blast Zone could hit them both, but I just don't think that's possible. I think I'm going to cling to Dust on the Cold Familiar. I want a Demolition Field so bad. Oof, I don't like that. But I do have the Blast Zone actually, so maybe I actually just take this opportunity to Blast Zone both of these. He's not expecting Deadly Dispute. But that can't be their first choice of card to sacrifice though either, so there is that, I'm guessing. I don't want to lose 3 life, but it is what it is. Oh, I'm Nixilis. Okay, reasonable, I guess. I don't know if I should have done that. But I do like scrying though. I'll take it. I should have hit that, I think. All right, but I think this is still going to be okay, and I'll explain why. And I'll lose 5 life, but still. Yeah, this could have been so different if I would have just hit that. Get them off green. Still might be able to pull this off. Like I'm not playing at my maximum though. I'm just not. So it's very very disheartening. But you know, hey, it is what it is. I wonder if I should risk. No, I think I gotta create the treasure token. Because I could this could easily like turn really shower really quickly. Oh well, that's insanely more convenient. Yeah, Mayhem Devil is a little bit concerning, not gonna lie. Hey, that's fine. And I actually lose less life that way, just for the record. I'll just lose 2 life. Okay, that's fine. Also fine. In fact, I think I'm going to hit both the Fable and this. Now my only issue is I hope they don't somehow Yargle me Timbers. This is a creature token of their choice. Whew. Really wanted to hit my land drop there. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, that is an excellent card. I think I should hit this too. I hope this doesn't backfire somehow. I feel pretty good about this. Yeah, I really needed to hit these land drops. I can finally start pressuring for the win. It's pretty much a dead draw, but that's fine. Gotta love it. Any more dead draws, but it is what it is. Alrighty. If I've learned one thing, it's that I gotta close the game out. I can't just rest on my laurels. Although these laurels are looking very resty about now. Okay. I mean, that's cool. You can gain a lot of life at the end of the day. It's fine. Let's see. I can do this. Bring back that. Bring back. I think I can just end this here. Alrighty. Well, okay. Um, yeah. So what are my thoughts from this league? So, I think the Rakdos mid-range deck is pretty close. Um, I don't know. Like, even if they are slightly ahead, like the format isn't only Rakdos mid-range, and I feel like I did good enough, obviously, in the other matchups we played against that I I feel like we might be on to something here. Um, the Rakdos mid-range deck, I think that's something that we need a lot of practice in. I think it's very possible that there really isn't much of a change of cards that we might want to make. It might just be being able to um, hone our play a little bit more, and we might be able to pull that off because one thing that I totally did not realize, and I really learned in this league, is that we can actually race their annex by killing their creatures. I mean, we could just gotten lucky, but it seemed like that was something that was coming together in multiple games. I mean, like kind of the whole game dynamic changes once they drop that annex. I think we basically just forget about whatever we were doing before, and we pretty much the game becomes trying to keep them off of demons. You know what I mean? Because that annex does end up killing them if they don't have enough demons. Like losing 2 life a turn, they don't have a ton of life gain. Actually, I don't know if they have any life gain. So I mean, maybe the card is more balanced than we thought at first. Anyway, um, as far as cards I'd want to change, I think the main deck is pretty solid. The sideboard, I don't know. I might want to jam some more games to see like if Thought Distortion might be worth it. Um, Obviously there is some consideration to like Invoke Despair because obviously that got cast against us and that was pretty devastating. But honestly, I think we just have to remember like drawing 3 cards is not actually the end of the world, but losing 6 life is something that can be hard to play around if we're not ready for it. But if you're ready for it, it is what it is. You can play around it, but the problem in this deck is that I just don't know. It's not something we can cast on turn 5 because we're gonna have to spend multiple turns cashing in our fields basically. It is counterable, so all the I mean it's just begging to get spell here, so there is that. I think the Invoke Despair is pretty much only punishing in the mono black mirror matchups of sorts. I don't really. I mean, the black mat. I mean, and even then, I don't even know how much it actually does against Rakdos mid range because it's usually not because we didn't draw enough cards. I don't know. Yeah, and, yeah. Also, we have a different dynamic. That card works better in their deck than it does ours because they put more pressure with their Blood Tithe Harvesters and all that. Yeah. Anyway, another possibility I thought about is I could cut 2 blast zones and I could cut the thought distortions to put in like go blank. Like go blank is nice because it doubles as more graveyard removal essentially, um, while also being hand, it also rips their hand apart. I love sideboard cards like this that are double duty that are both graveyard hate and they go after the hands. That being said, that being said, the main thing about 4 blast zones is just that they're cards like what's it called unlicensed hearse that they just really mess with my crucible plan, and having a blast zone be able to crank it up to 2 and deal with that is just very nice. Plus there's that new ghost card, that new 1 mana ghost card that exiles a card from a graveyard. So like yeah, anywho, uh yeah, it is just nice to have artifact hate. Oh yeah, and of course we saw just how powerful Blast Zone is against that against that Cold and Familiar combo deck. It hits their Witch's Ovens. It hits that 1 mana trail enchantment card. Um, yeah, I guess the Cold and Familiar itself, it doesn't do that much. Anywho, honestly, I don't know if there's anything I'm going to change. Um, but for the time being, I think with more experience, we'll see. I I try Modern again? I don't know. Probably not, to be honest. But I at least want to see the meta settle a little bit. It's very hard for me to to really be involved in these formats when they're in a state of flux. I feel like I'm able to do the best when there's like a clear meta that I actually can sort of make the right card choices based on. I think a lot of what makes me able to be competitive with these weird janky brews is knowing the meta and being able to pick the cards that are best in that meta. And I just can't do that when it's all over the place. So at the very least, I'll have to wait for Modern to settle a bit. In any case, I want to say thank you for all of you all who are watching, and thanks to the patrons as well: Big Mamu, Paul Wynn, Adrian King, Gavin Downer, Savages, Roland Shuneman, S. Robertson, Jason R.K., Erwin Lopez, Brian H., Ezekiel Smith, and Michael Patton. Yeah, wishing you all the best. Happy holidays, happy New Year. Take care, everybody, and signing off.